Have you ever heard of a musician so good, people thought he made a deal with the devil? This is the story of Niccolò Paganini, the world's first true rock star, a man whose talent was so unbelievable that an entire continent decided he couldn't possibly be human. But the reality behind the legend was a life filled with so much pain, the myth almost made more sense. Paganini's story starts in his childhood, and it starts with suffering. His father, desperate to escape poverty, forced him to practice the violin for hours upon hours. If he got tired, he was punished. If he complained, he was forced to practice even longer. For young Niccolò, music wasn't just an art, it was a means of survival for his entire family. Then came the illnesses. He suffered from real, documented diseases that twisted his joints and stretched his fingers beyond what should be possible. These conditions were agonizing, but they gave him an almost supernatural ability. He could perform impossible finger stretches, play with inhuman speed, and invent techniques no one had ever seen or heard before. People couldn't comprehend it, so they invented their own explanation. He must have sold his soul to the devil. Rumors flew across Europe. They said he practiced in graveyards, that his violin strings were made from human intestines, and that his music could summon spirits from the underworld. None of this was true, but the reality was almost as unsettling. On stage, Paganini was a haunting figure. He was shockingly thin and pale, with long black hair and sunken cheeks. When he played, he moved like a man possessed, contorting his body, sometimes snapping strings and finishing a whole piece on just one. The effect was electrifying. People in the audience would faint, women would weep, and men would make the sign of the cross, half in awe, half in fear. Instead of being celebrated for his genius, society began to treat him like an outcast. He was denied jobs, and people refused to trust him. Everywhere he went, the shadow of superstition followed. But the final cruelest injustice came after he died. Because of the rumors about his pact with the devil, the church refused to bury him in consecrated ground. For years, his body had no final resting place, moved from city to city, as if the world was still afraid of him even in death. Yet through all the poverty, illness, rejection, and fear, Paganini never stopped playing. He completely revolutionized the violin, pushing it to its absolute limits. He inspired generations of composers, from Liszt to Schumann to Rachmaninoff. He didn't need a deal with the devil. He just had what every great artist possesses: the profound ability to transform immense personal suffering into something beautiful, something the world could never, ever forget.